Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are Brothers on Tennis. And folks, we have a wonderful interview for you today. We are talking to our guy from the USTA Foundation, someone we've met over the last year and really are just interested in understanding a little bit more about what's going on with the USTA Foundation as well as their deliverables going forward. Bryce, I know we had a great time with Rob when we first met him. I'll let you go ahead and do the intro for the folks out there.
Sure. Thanks, Isaac. Yes, people, we have Rob Howland with us today. He is a senior director, head of programs and of social impact for the USTA Foundation. Now, you may be thinking what I was thinking before, which was, well, what's the difference between the USTA and the USTA Foundation? Well, Rob is going to answer that question for us today, as well as give us some insight on some really neat things that they're doing, not only in the Southern California area, but nationwide. So, without further ado, we welcome to Brothers on Tennis, Rob Howland. Hey, Rob.
Hey guys, thank you so much. I don't know that I have a lot to live up to with that intro. But it's nice to talk to you both in this format.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Rob, it's great to talk to you as well. Like I said, we had the pleasure of meeting up with you and really just interested in, a little bit of what's going on across the USTA Foundation. So starting off with Bryce's question, what is the difference between the USTA and the USTA Foundation?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I like to start answering that by saying I think we're the best kept secret that everybody in tennis should know about.
Nice.
If you think about it, right, the USTA, the United States Tennis Association, it's the governing body for the sport for the United States. It sets the rules. It does a number of things. Its mission is to promote and grow the sport. We are a separate legal entity, a charitable entity. So we are the philanthropic arm for the national governing body of tennis, the USTA. We're a separate legal entity with its own separate mission. And that's one thing and one goal: to bring tennis and education together to change lives.
Awesome.
Now, Rob, is this the same organization that holds that event at the U.S. Open every year?
Do you mean say
on
that
that
again?
Monday night, like the fundraiser?
Yes. So fortunately, right, most nonprofit organizations like the foundation, they have to raise money to deliver their mission. So we do the same thing. We have the USTA graciously hosts us, allows us to use the President's Suite, and we typically have and have for the past few years the opening night gala at the US Open. So for those viewers out there, you're used to seeing people like Hugh Jackman and Vera Wang and Anna Wintour, and last year our MC was Anthony Anderson. Folks like that. A lot of those people and our donors come to that opening night gala and then watch the matches the first night.
That is fantastic.
Awesome.
Yes. We got a glance of that, and those stars that you mentioned coming in for 2022. That's for sure. And Rob, we know that it's just a great event that you all host at the U.S. Open as well. Let's talk a little bit just about your background, Rob. I mean, how did you get involved with the USTA Foundation?
Tennis has always been part of my life. My parents were, I was from a middle-class family in New Jersey. My parents were league players. They put me in the sandbox next to the court. And one day I was 4 or 5. I picked up the racket and I was hitting against the wall there, and I just had a talent for it. And it kind of carried me forward. I was actually a competitive soccer player on a travel team, but then really kind of fell in love with tennis in my teens and just decided to focus on that. So that's how I came into the game. What kept me in the game is that, I had a hard time, as most young people do, just adjusting. And tennis kind of gave me that that discipline, that focus. I was good at it. It built my confidence, and it just kept me engaged. And my first gig was teaching in a after-school program in Trenton, New Jersey, in the NJTL chapter, NJTL of Trenton there. So that's how I got into the game. That's how I stayed with the game. And how I got into NJTL and the foundation was that was my first job. I was a broke college student. I wasn't making any money. I didn't really know my right from my left. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was good at tennis. And, so I stepped foot on the court, was coaching kids in Trenton. I knew the power of the sport because of what it did for me. And immediately I could see, what it was doing for kids. And I ended up staying at that local organization for 18 years.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah. And the foundation came knocking about 6.5 years ago and asked me to, basically pursue a position, a director of programs position, relocated to Orlando. And so for about 6.5 years, I've been with the USTA Foundation based in Orlando. And the last 6 months, as of this past January, I moved to Los Angeles.
Nice. So you've come out to the West Coast. You've joined us.
Yeah, welcome to Cali.
Welcome.
The Jersey guy is definitely on the West Coast now, for sure.
Well, you know what? And to our listeners, this is where we met Rob last year. As you're well aware, we have a very close relationship with the Pete Brown tennis program up in LA. And there was an event there, and Rob, we met you there and formed a relationship with you afterwards. But you talked about NJTL chapters, and the Pete Brown tennis program is an NJTL chapter as well. For our listeners who don't really know the background about NJTL, can you explain for a few minutes what they are and their significance?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an incredible, just, it's part of the fabric of tennis culture in the United States that most people don't really know about and should know about. Arthur Ashe felt after his win at the US Open in 1968, that with the turmoil that was happening in the country with Dr. King's assassination and some of the other things that were happening, Arthur wanted to, use his new voice and use the sport to really change lives and have the sport be a way to build champions and citizens on and off the court. And so this NJTL, National Junior Tennis League, was what it was originally called, was born out of Arthur's vision in 1968. And he and two other gentlemen, Sheridan Snyder and Charlie Passerell, started this movement. I call it a movement because it kind of sprung up all over the country. Chapters just started, individuals with a passion for the sport and who wanted to kind of follow Arthur and support what he was trying to do. They started organizations all over the United States. And that was kind of how it started. And the way that it came to the USTA is in the mid 80s when Arthur fell ill, which most of the viewers know. He approached the USTA, and a gentleman at the time, his name was Don Conway. He was the CEO of the USTA, and a friend of Arthur's, agreed to take the NJTL over on Arthur's behalf. And so that's kind of the story from 1969 to the mid 80s. Arthur had this vibrant network of organizations that he had corporate sponsors for, and they had national championships and, had a lot of talented young people. And the USTA took that over in the mid 80s, and then it came over to the foundation in 2013. So it's been under the foundation's guidance auspices for about the last 10 years.
That's fantastic. And Rob, talk to us just about, once that transition happened to the USTA Foundation, what have been some of the things and or focus areas that you all have been driving towards over this last 10-year stint? Now, I know that you said it's been about 6.5 years that you were in Orlando. Now you're out here on the West Coast. But what are some of those things that you all have driven and are looking to deliver going forward?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that question. I think impactful programs, right? The programs that are being delivered at these chapters are really, they're reliant, or there's a couple things that really are key. You need to have good leadership of those organizations, right? So we've been investing in the leaders and those organizations for the better part of 10 years. Leadership trainings, executive development, HR related things, technical assistance, right? Because without good leadership of those orgs, it's really hard to kind of deliver and manifest good programs and outcomes. So one, right, investing in leadership.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the second thing is you need to invest in the programs themselves, right? These are all independent charities. They're all their own independent 501c3 charities, and they're out there hustling and raising money. And so we've incredibly increased the amount of program funding that we're giving to these organizations. And I'm proud to say that in 2023, in our latest funding round, we granted the most ever money. So,
wow,
over $4.1 million to 149 organizations that are part of our network. It's pretty big.
That's incredible.
And so I understand, Rob, why you were in Orlando, because USTA is there. So talk to us about what drove your transition from Orlando to Los Angeles.
Well, I was planning to come out here in 2020, but something happened in 2020 that kind of delayed my my relocation out here. But I am I'm thankful that that's over, yes, for the most part that's over, and we're kind of back to normal, so to speak. But we had a board member that was incredibly active with the foundation. Her name was Carol Kimmelman. She was both a elementary school teacher, public school teacher in LA Unified. She was also a walk-on to the USC tennis team in her college career and was an NCAA champion.
Oh, wow.
And she was incredibly passionate about tennis and education, which is why she was such a great board member, right? Which is those two things central to our mission. Carol had a long bout with ovarian cancer, and upon her passing, her husband and 4 children wanted to honor her memory and her legacy of both education and tennis. And so they made the decision to embark on a plan to build an athletic and academic campus for under-resourced kids. And so part of the reason why I moved out here was to work on that project. And the other part is, we're a national foundation, and until this day and age, this time period, we've really only had a footprint on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it was twofold. It was, how do we support seeing this project to fruition, and then how do we expand kind of the foundation's footprint so that we're on both sides of the United States, on both coasts.
Right. And Rob, what can you, because of course Bryce and I, we dabble a bit in the project management space, so what are those major milestones that you have as it relates to this particular project that you're building out here?
Yeah, I mean, so the first thing was identifying a site, and we've kind of been through a couple iterations of that. We started in Carson, but we do have a final site. It's adjacent to LAX.
Okay.
So site is locked down, lease is signed, right? So having property in LA is a challenge. So we have that challenge. And to get 55 acres practically
Yes.
donated is kind of like incredible.
Wow.
So I think it speaks to the power of the project. So that was the first milestone. We have an architect, we have a project manager, we're in planning, we have renderings, we have, 100% design development and all these terms that I don't really know about. But it's been really fun to kind of see this come along.
Right.
We will have a shovel in the ground, I would anticipate, in late Q4 or early Q1.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Great.
so we're right around the corner. And we expect a 2-year build to finish.
Gotcha.
So this particular facility, can you talk about what it'll be composed of?
Yeah, no, it's really, really incredible, guys. I mean, this is going to be such a community asset, like nothing else. It will feature a learning center that will be approximately 25,000 square feet, which will be operated by the Tiger Woods Foundation and the Windward Academy. So two really marquee academic partners. It will feature a welcome center that will have, USTA Foundation offices, the team that will run the campus, and player development is also anticipated to have a performance area there. The campus is built for kids, but as you know, it's important that it's sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
We do anticipate that there would, potentially be some fee-for-service activities or events held on the weekend to just make the place more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about having, grassroots, entry level, beginners, all the way, the entire pathway, all the way up to player development, where all those West Coast pros, right, that are currently in Carson at PD's office there would now be on this site, right? To have that full spectrum, it's really aspirational for kids, right?
Absolutely.
I'm the kid, I'm coming from LA, I go to the campus, I see a pro, I'm playing there, and I see Taylor Fritz, or I see whoever, the other pros are. I mean, that's just an incredible opportunity. The other thing for all the Cali folks, we do have Cedars-Sinai as a partner.
Nice.
Yeah, so they'll be on the campus to do athletic training for the kids that are using the facility. Public schools in Cali, I didn't know this actually, do not require athletic trainers. So Cedars-Sinai provides athletic trainers through a program called Team Heal at many public schools throughout Los Angeles, and one of those Team Heal sites will be located on the campus. So we're really proud of that.
Nice.
Very
nice.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it'll be multi-sport, soccer fields. We have baseball field, volleyball, basketball, in addition to 24 tennis courts.
Wow. And Rob, tell me this. Now, understanding that I believe it's 2028 where we'll be hosting the Olympics, do you think that this new development will somehow or another have any part in that particular initiative as far as the Olympics go?
I think the 2028 folks are far along with identifying their facility needs, but I do think, we will play a role in some way. I'm just not sure what that role will be.
Gotcha. Now that's outstanding.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something we know that you and the foundation are playing a current role with, and that's our good friends at the out there at Harvard Park at the Pete Brown Jr. tennis program. We know you have done some good things with them recently. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. I think it's really important for all the listeners to know that we have such a wonderful group of NJTL chapters in all of Southern California. I mean, when you think of kind of the territory, you have Youth Tennis San Diego stretching all the way down in San Diego. You have 40 Love Foundation in Inglewood. You have Pasadena Tennis, right? There's so many wonderful NJTL chapters, and we have an incredible partnership with USTA Southern California to really help service all of them. But of course, our friends at Pete Brown Junior Tennis Program are doing really good work there at Harvard Park. And so, we're talking today, and I don't know when this will air, but on Thursday, July 20th, we will, dedicate a newly refurbished 8 tennis courts at Harvard Park. It is a community asset. It's for use by Rexham Parks, Pete Brown, and the entire community. So we're really proud about that. And we have a special guest that's scheduled to appear. We have Big Foe.
Yes.
An appearance for us.
Yeah.
And so really excited to have Frances join in the dedication and be on court with the kids. But it's a much bigger initiative for all the listeners, right? When you think about it, it's hard to deliver quality programs without quality facilities.
Right.
And tennis courts are not cheap to maintain. And
Right.
so this dedication will launch a national initiative that the foundation is funding over $3 million over the next 3 years, seeking to renovate over 250 courts in similar communities just like South LA. So that the NJTLs, that are delivering programs, that their kids can have quality courts to play on.
That is such an outstanding initiative, Rob. I mean, again, we all know how difficult it is, getting court time, getting young people into the sport of tennis, especially those of color, the availability of courts. I just feel like this is something that really, really will be beneficial across the board moving forward. So what an incredible initiative.
Yeah, my hope is we can get more stakeholders involved and put even more money and resources into renovating even more courts.
And you know what? To our listeners, we will be at the Harvard Park dedication ceremony. So we'll be providing you some footage from that event. And also, hopefully, we'll get a chance to chat with Big Folk for a minute. So we will definitely bring you that great content. So, Rob, this move for you to California and working on these events, is the move to California going to be like a permanent location for you, or then will you move to another part of the country and kick off another set of projects?
The plan for now is to be permanently located on the West Coast. Proud to say we just hired a new full-time team of 5 out here.
Nice.
So we have an office and a WeWork space very close to Westchester, where the facility will be built. So we've made a short-term and long-term investment. The Powerball is kind of large, so if I win the Powerball, I can't make any promises about where I'll be. But my plan for now is to take advantage of the Cali life, and really, I'm excited to bring our sport to more kids across Greater Los Angeles through our chapters and through the initiatives of Lulu's Place, which is what the campus will be called, which was Carol's nickname.
Gotcha.
Okay, now it makes sense. Okay.
Gotcha. Lulu's Place. Love that. Awesome. Well, Rob, anything additional that you want to share? I know that, again, just talking about this program, a lot of you don't know, and Bryce and I, we actually just recorded our Wimbledon wrap-up, and the girls' singles champion, Clairvy Ngannou, actually was a part of this NJTL program, correct, Rob?
Yeah, Clairvy trained out of one of our chapters in DC. Metropolitan Tennis and Education Group, and she's also been a long-time recipient of USTA Foundation provides individual player grants. And so we've been funding Claire V along with many other stakeholders. So we've been supportive of her and really just proud to see her success.
Absolutely.
Yes. And Rob, for our listeners that want to either stay up to speed on the progress of your projects or other things that the USTA Foundation, are doing, where can they go? Where should they go for updates and more information?
Yeah, so for LA specific, we have a page, USTAfoundation.com/LA, that lists all of our active NJTLs. You can also visit our regular website, but I would say the best source is probably our Instagram. And then for those LinkedIn folks, we have a LinkedIn page, so you can look us up there, follow us there. But I'd say, there's a lot of NJTL alumni out there that might be listening. And if you aren't kind of reconnected with the foundation and what we're doing, we would love to get you involved and engaged in the mission as it is today. So definitely, hit us up on Instagram and, stay connected to what we're doing. And there's always a need for volunteers, right? There's 270 chapters all over the country that reach over 133,000 kids. And this work is not easy. And so anybody that's interested in volunteering, I would encourage you to, reach out to your local NJTL chapter. If you're not sure, you can always email us at njtl@usta.com and we can make that connection for you.
That is fantastic. Good stuff, Rob. Rob, anything else that you would like to share to the listening audience?
I just really appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you guys. And I hope this is one of many more conversations that, we can continue to have and spread the good word of what this sport can do for so many people, and bring it to more people.
Well, Rob, we appreciate you and what you and the foundation, what you guys are doing for tennis and the youth and the community. And, sometimes I think people get just very caught up in the big names at the biggest tournaments, and tennis is so much larger than that. And we're going to have an episode at some point where we even talk about, there are careers in tennis beyond, trying to be the number one player in the world, right? And they serve a great purpose. And so we appreciate the work that you're doing and on behalf of all the people that benefit from it.
Absolutely. And listen, this doesn't happen just with Rob Howland. We have an entire team that, does all this work. We have a very dedicated board of directors. We have a dedicated USTA national board, right? We have a USTA national staff that is supportive of us. So it's one big family that's trying to move the needle and make a difference. So just want to reiterate that point. And I hope everyone that's listening can be a part of that and Arthur's movement.
Great. So listeners, keep your eyes out for our updates from the Harvard Park dedication ceremony later this week. And like I said, hopefully we'll get an opportunity to chat for a moment with Big Foe. But as Rob stated not too long ago, reach out and get involved if you can. It's hard work, but it is absolutely work that is needed and appreciated by the community. So once again, Rob, thank you so much for coming on to Brothers on Tennis. We look forward to the next time that you're on. And on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, take care.